As you delve a little more, you will discover that T. Rowe Price is not just any investment firm. Rather, it is one of the key companies that has a significant amount of money invested in cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and yes, XRP. As a result, there is an intriguing relationship here. In spite of the fact that Gary Gensler, who is currently in charge of the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, continues to classify XRP as a security, his twin brother is significantly involved in an investment firm that is a large investor in XRP as well as other cryptocurrencies. This is a fascinating juxtaposition that brings up quite a few concerns regarding the complex dynamics that are at play in the realm of cryptocurrency rules and investments. The enticing possibility is brought to our attention by this. Is it possible that Robert Gensler, the vice president of T. Rowe Price, has access to confidential information regarding the potential of XRP, which is comparable to that of Bitcoin and Ethereum? When you take into consideration the considerable investments that the company has made in these three cryptocurrencies, this idea begins to gain traction. Even while the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, explicitly rejects any idea of insider trading, numerous reports and investigations have revealed that this is not the case. Throughout the course of these investigations, which have focused on market manipulation and insider trading, questionable behaviors within the SEC have been brought to light on multiple occasions. It would appear that a pattern is beginning to emerge. Officials from the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, appear to be informing their family about which digital assets may soon be exempt from being classified as securities. The early investment is made by these relatives. The value of the asset skyrockets when it is formally declared to be non-security, which enables these family members and friends to make a substantial profit by purchasing the item at a low price and selling it at a high valuation. Regarding the potential loss that the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, could incur as a result of a lawsuit against XRP, let us take into consideration the probability that Robert N. Gensler gained access to confidential information from his brother, Gary Gensler. That Congress might try to negotiate a settlement between Ripple Labs and the SEC is something that could be inferred from such facts. Consequently, this is an excellent opportunity for astute investors to get their hands on XRP. Another dimension is added to this narrative by the fact that the T. Rowe Price is gradually channeling capital into cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, Ethereum, and most especially XRP. Notable analysts who have been optimistic on XRP, such as Jack the Rippler, forecast an enormous growth in its value, potentially topping $589. This is despite the fact that the cryptocurrency community is buzzing about the possibility of XRP reaching dizzying heights, such as $10,000, $20,000, or even $60,000. Despite the fact that it is a big forecast, this one highlights the growing excitement and speculation about XRP and its potential in the cryptocurrency market. The profit-making potential of XRP is attracting the attention of Wall Street. And what about my suspicions? The first significant move will be made through an exchange-traded fund, ETF, that invests in XRP. But let's get into further detail. This development goes deeper than what is initially apparent. Crypto Basic has provided us with some news that is very exciting. A former Ripple director has taken notice of the fact that an analyst has said that JP Morgan has made a huge leap into XRP. This has caught the attention of the executive. This information has definitely caused me to raise my eyebrows, and it is something that we need to discuss more. Now, here is how the narrative unfolds. Ben Armstrong, who was once AFI, this, according to him, places JP Morgan in a position to become a rising superpower in the realm of cryptocurrencies. Consequently, there is a story that suggests that Wall Street titans such as JP Morgan might be making movements in the cryptocurrency industry, particularly with regard to XRP. Furthermore, despite the fact that the calculations could be a little bit hazy, the concept of major financial institutions getting involved in cryptocurrency is not something that should be ignored. It is indicative of a bigger trend in which traditional finance and the realm of digital currency are crossing, with XRP serving as the focal point of some exceptionally exciting developments. BlackRock, the industry leader in asset management, has also been brought into the spotlight as a result of Armstrong's aggressive pronouncements. In light of the fact that BlackRock has recently received clearance for its iShares Bitcoin ETF, he is causing a stir by asserting that the company is now considering include XRP in its investment portfolio. Armstrong continued on from that point. Additionally, he is focusing his attention on the continuing legal battle that is taking place between Ripple and the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. What is his opinion? In spite of the continuing legal drama, these financial behemoths are investing in XRP, which is a clear indication that they have a strong faith in the exciting prospects that lie ahead for XRP. What would happen if this pattern of accumulation turned out to be accurate? It would indicate that major participants in the financial industry are placing bets on XRP despite the regulatory roller coaster ride it is now experiencing. Now, let me tell you something, folks. It was always a possibility that Wall Street would eventually come around to crypto. This topic has been on my mind for more than 5 years. And when I first started talking about it, it seemed like a distant dream. But take a look at us now, with Bitcoin at the forefront of the movement. Do you believe that XRP won't follow suit? My opinion is that I must politely disagree. When is the question? It is not a question of if. On the other hand, the particular setting that Armstrong represents in his painting might not be the complete picture. The narrative, however, becomes more complicated. In his response to Armstrong's stunning assertions, Matt Hamilton, who had previously served as the director of Ripple, expressed a significant amount of skepticism. Not only did he dispute the propriety of such a purchase, but he also questioned the impact that it would actually have on XRP given the large supply of the asset. Hamilton then pulls out the calculator from his pocket. When compared to the total number of XRP in circulation, which is 100 billion, the amount of 7.5 million XRP is a tiny 0.075% of the total. Hamilton went so far as to make a joke saying, "I'm guessing this is a parody account in response to claims made by Armstrong." It is a playful reference to the frequently surreal character of Armstrong's utterances, implying that you would almost require a sarcastic lens in order to make sense of how he has expressed himself. Now that we have that out of the way, let's break down the math since, in all honesty, it speaks for itself. When it came to the numbers, Hamilton was spot on, pointing out the obvious errors that were there in the initial claim. At this point, it is very evident that the figures do not add up. On the other hand, this prompted me to wonder, where did this extraordinary tale even come from? Well, folks, I conducted some research and I found the answer to my question. I was able to locate the origin, and it is quite a formidable one. You now get the full picture. Keeping one's wits about oneself and exercising discernment is absolutely necessary in the dark and complicated realm of crypto reporting. As always, I am here to provide you with the actual scoop. To put things in perspective, let's get this straight. Since the very beginning, there has been a buzzing anticipation that the price of XRP reaching a historic $10,000 was not just a possibility, but an inevitability. And what do you think? This prognosis has just been given a significant boost. With regard to this matter, we are discussing none other than Larry Fink, who is affiliated with BlackRock, lending his support. Think about this. In his discussion, he is not merely referring to a meager $10,000 per XRP. I'm so sorry. He is highlighting the fact that it is an essential requirement. Greetings, members of the Money Side family. Hello and welcome to your one-stop shop for anything related to XRP. Before we dive into the meat of today's content, let's take a moment to brief ourselves on the situation. A simple favor is something I need from you. In order to become a part of our incredible community, you should go ahead and hit that like button, click the subscribe button, and ring that notification bell. And just so you know, here's a heads up. We are getting closer and closer to the 60,000 subscriber milestone, and we are getting ready to give away an enormous amount of XRP. There is no difficulty associated in participating in the giveaway. Only 3 easy steps need to be followed. So, please ensure that you are prepared and tuned in. In addition, make sure to include a hashtag for MoneySide in the comments section so that you can guarantee your participation in the prize. Now we're getting to the juicy part. Imagine for a moment if titans of finance such as BlackRock and Vanguard are suddenly giving serious consideration to using XRP for their international transactions. Hold on, things are going to get better. Reportedly, BlackRock is planning to develop an exchange-traded fund, ETF, that is centered on XRP. Indeed, you did that correctly. But hold on, there's plenty more. This is not the end of Larry Fink's story. As he surveys the enormous real estate market, which is estimated to be worth $30 trillion, can you anticipate what the future holds for it? You have it right. This is the XRP ledger, which is prepared to tokenize the entire thing. And with an astounding $1.2 quadrillion coming from the International Swaps and Traders Association, which is going to be transferred through the XRP ledger and RippleNet. In this context, we are not simply referring to $10,000 per XRP. That's what children do. According to some estimates, the value of one XRP might climb to as high as $60,000. It's incredible.